right, you assholes.
And we're on.
What?
Hey. Hello. Welcome.
Hello.
Congratulations, one and all. Congratulations, especially to Texans, for getting James Talarico as your Democratic nominee for the
Yes.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and as critical as I think we were, or as cynical as other people were about Jasmine Crockett before he won, she's been gracious in defeat and is now fully backing him in his upcoming campaign.
Texans would have been beyond lucky to be able to consider her as a nominee, even if if she'd won, she'd been the only good one running. Like, to think that just because she's not quite up to par with the other guy, I mean, dude's pretty awesome. So, but yeah, I mean, look, when you're good enough that the government's trying to literally censor you via their CBS offshoot.
Oh God!
Propaganda. Talk about that shit today. So let's talk about that shit, I guess.
Yeah.
How's the war going? Pretty good. Let's check out CBS, see what they say.
That's a good question.
You mean the war that's not a war, but is a war, but isn't a war?
I mean, it's a war that's been going on for a while, which is why people
but also
calling
they
on him to end for a while, right?
But we struck first because they were gonna start it.
Yeah.
Yep. If you hadn't started first, then
they would have started
struck you after you had struck them.
But keep in mind, they already started. We've been at war for a while, guys. So.
Yeah. Well, and also they have a what did MAGA Mike Johnson say? I'm like, oh shit, man. He said they have a like a warped religion or something.
Oh
like, God. Holy shit! They're just saying the quiet part out loud. Speaking of which, did you see what old Keg's breath was spreading around to the top brass in the military over the weekend?
Yeah, this is fucking frightening.
Did not see that, but
dude, they're trying to do Bible shit. Like they're doing.
Oh God, that doesn't surprise me.
He's a fucking psycho. He's a complete psycho.
Yeah.
They've literally certain members of the military are reporting they've literally had commands that this is Trump is starting Armageddon.
Here we go. It's from this right here is a Substack, Jonathan Larson's Substack. He says, combat unit commander told non-commissioned officers at a briefing Monday that the Iran war is part of God's plan and that President Donald Trump was anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran to cause Armageddon and mark his return to Earth, according to a complaint by non-commissioned officers. From Saturday morning through Monday night, more than 110 similar complaints about commanders in every branch of the military had been logged by the Military Religious Freedom Foundation. The complaints came from more than 40 different units spread across at least 30 military installations. That's keeping complaints anonymous to prevent any retribution from the Defense Department, and Pentagon did not immediately respond. Obviously, they suck. One complainant identified themselves as a non-commissioned officer in a unit currently outside the Iran combat zone, but is in ready support status, deployable at any time. They said the NCO said they were Christian and emailed the MRF on behalf of 15 troops, including at least 11 Christians, 1 Muslim, and 1 Jew. So it's not like it's just a bunch of atheists fucking complaining or whatever.
This is why I try not to watch the news too much. It just gives me a fucking headache. And
it's upsetting, man. Like, I mean, I think it's important to understand the level at which these motherfuckers are operating at. Whenever you see the bombs flying and everything, and you're like, oh, are they doing this for oil or something? I think what's happening is the same thing that happened with Iraq, 20 years ago now. You got 7 different people with different agendas, and they're plying a pliable president.
I mean, at least Bush had the courtesy to try and make it this legitimate, though. I mean, is this the new sort of Republican strategy of just saying everything? We're doing it for this reason, but not the same reason.
Yeah, well, I mean,
they're doing this, but we're not doing this. I mean,
it's fucking what is it? They're postmodernists. they're the postmodernists they warned us all about, where nothing actually means anything and they just say whatever. You know, it's nihilistic death.
So I've added Wag the Dog to the podcast next week.
Oh.
Completely unrelated, by the way.
There you
Not
go.
related to this at all.
I'd also, I don't know if you've covered it yet or are planning to, but Canadian Bacon's a pretty good.
That's not a bad one too. I think is that my one fictional direction.
Yeah.
I think.
Stripes and Stripes. You know, that's a good one.
Well, that is a classic one, but
and did they make a film about Iran Contra? I can't remember, but
no, they made a video game about Contra, but that's all as far as I know.
Yeah, for the podcast, we'll be playing Contra. It has a good game.
But yeah, I mean, the fact that Trump was literally threatening war with Canada at one point makes me think that Canadian Bacon was pretty spot on in its stupidity.
Yeah.
And I just can't believe the stuff that they're coming up with. It's a regime change, but it's not a regime change. I mean, that the biggest MAGA moron of the moment, that Mark Wayne Mullins, literally said, "This is war." And then when a reporter says to him, "You just said this was a war," he said, "Oh, I didn't mean this was a war." That's what they're calling it. They're calling it a war, but we're not calling it.
Oh, it's their fault. Their fault. Oh my God.
Yeah, the country that just got bombed is calling it a declaration of war.
Right, but
you know,
Higgsborough said, "We will set the terms of engagement." God, he's such a fucking insecure chudge. It's so obvious. God damn, I hate that guy. I really fucking don't like him.
No, I hate the old administration. Kaig's breath is fucking. But
and I know that Spain recently rejected the Americans' desire to land planes in their airports, and so Trump's reaction was, "Well, we'll do it anyway, and they can't stop us." So further proving that the man, all throughout the Epstein files, does not know how to take no for an answer. Who would have thought it?
yeah, well, I mean, let's face it. That's a large part of why he wants a lot of big news right now. And
yep. Did you guys see Jim Carrey got replaced?
I have heard about this. Yes.
No.
Yeah, he's been replaced by someone named Kim Jerry.
Oh.
So what seems to have happened is he's maybe had a little work done. He's definitely had a little work done, but maybe his face has gotten a little fatter. But the main thing that I see that people are pointing to, if you look at the so just kind of, I'll show you the screen and show you the videos we got popping up here. So my dad had this surgery, and I'll probably have to have it at some point. It's when you have too much eyelid, and there's a procedure where they just kind of cut some of that skin off. It looks like that's what he had done.
Yeah, I mean, Simon Cowell famously had this, and he looked very odd for a little while.
So yeah, here's Jimmy Dore talking about it. But you can see in those pictures right there the difference. It's notable. Like it's like, whoa.
Well, I have no doubt. I mean, you don't get away with being the known as the sort of rubber-faced funny man without that giving you wrinkles and in later life. I remember watching Yes Man at the cinema, which is probably about 20 years old now, and thought, "Damn, Jim Carrey looks old in that."
Yeah, it's probably 20 years old. Holy, how old is that? Holy shit!
I mean, part of that was because his love interest for that film was Zooey Deschanel, who was half his age then, so that didn't help. But yeah, it's one of those things where he isn't really in public that often, and so
well, and also
what was the last Jim Carrey movie I saw? It wasn't Kick-Ass 2. I had to have seen something since then.
He was also talking kind of weird the last few times he's been in public, where he's like, actually was saying some kind of interesting base stuff. But it can be easily construed as like him referring to some lizard people fucking conspiracy or something. So the people that do that are doing that.
He's always taught like that, though. I think the last film I saw probably was Kick-Ass 2, but I did see him on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, and he he's just a weird guy.
Let's check out what old Benny Boo is saying about that.
I mean, real quick about Kick-Ass 2. Like, Kick-Ass 2 is it's a movie that I think is a mixed bag, but Jim Carrey's really good in it. And I did think it was weird because he spoke out against it after doing it. Just like, I didn't realize it. It's like,
well, this was
did you watch the first one? Did you watch the first?
This was at the time when school shootings were relatively rare in the States, and I think one just happened around the time Kick-Ass came out, or there was a tragedy, and that that was what caused him to change his mind about having made the film.
I guess so, but I mean, it seems like that he would have. I don't know. It's just maybe he didn't realize that like maybe he only was aware of his part in the movie for the most part.
Yeah.
And then once he started learning, like, oh, what else is going on in the movie? Maybe that was something that contributed to it.
Maybe. Oh yeah, I guess he is in the Sonic films, but
yeah.
I mean, he's the reason.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, that would be the last one I saw him in, Sonic 3.
But then he is heavily made up in that one, at least.
Well, one of his characters is. Unless you count the goofy mustache as heavily made up, but yeah. I mean, let's face it, he is pretty much a cartoon character in that movie.
So I mean, this is definitely feeding the algorithm on YouTube right now. It's crazy. 6 months ago, he had a speech against Trump.
Oh yeah.
But
I mean, I think this further goes to prove that certain people are just desperate now for a new conspiracy, because the Epstein files conspiracy did not go the way that they thought it would. It picked all the wrong people. It was true.
Notable. It's notable that at least you got people like what's his name, Josiah Rises, supposedly. He's covering it. You got Benny Johnson covering it, and it's weird. It's weird that you'd think they'd be covering, I don't know, maybe the war that has been started for no fucking reason, where multiple, I think dozens of military people have died so far. Not to mention the hundreds of schoolgirls that were bombed in the first fucking bombing that was done. That was probably done on purpose. Let's be real. Israel loves to bomb schools and hospitals and shit. So.
I think it's worth adding an amendment. You brought up Benny Johnson. He is Russian asset, Benny Johnson.
That's true. We have more evidence of him being a Russian asset than he has of Jim Carrey being a clone.
Yeah,
that's true. That's 100% true.
Yeah, the right wing, oh man. So I'm pretty bummed out, honestly. Like, got people saying don't lose hope yet. That might not work out, the whole merger thing. But I don't know. It seems.
Honestly, I pulled up an article about right here. The merger thing is really, I hate it. Just with listen, I hated the idea of Netflix merging with Warner Brothers. I thought that was obnoxious and huge. This is somehow worse, which is really frustrating.
It's worse on several levels, and I don't know if everybody really realizes that, because it's I'll say this. I think if this happens, if this goes through, James Gunn is gone. He's not going to be doing the DCU much longer.
Well, that's what John Campea was reporting. I don't know his source, but he's not one to really fly off on something wild. But according to him,
I don't even think it's that big of a. I don't have any source or anything. I'm just like, he's been given a lot of freedom to do what he wants to do. And then you've got the Ellisons who have made it clear what kind of content they want to make. They want to make, MAGA slop. And as soon as it comes up against, and those two things bump against each other, they're either going to kill his contract or he's going to walk or something.
But yeah,
I mean, it will depend on the strength of his contract to see, because he could make a lot of money out of it, which I'm sure is not what he wants. He'd rather be doing the job. But it's crazy, because when you think back to the sort of the Fox buyout, it wasn't a merger, because Fox were basically willing to shatter the studio. They were just going to shut it down if they didn't sell it. It was so really all Disney bought were the IPs. That's what the money was spent on, not the actual ongoing business. Whereas in this case, for my money, think Warner Brothers and Paramount are probably about as viable as each other. So it is a merger, which is a bit different.
Yeah.
And it's worrying. If I had stock in either company, I'd be selling now. Although I understand the stock has taken a massive dip after the announcement was made. So,
well, I mean, the Ellisons have made it clear what their agenda is, and I'm sure they'll just use Warner Brothers to extend that agenda.
Yeah, she was literally fucking posting pictures from it, and yeah. I don't look, man. I don't like Hillary Clinton. I did not.
No,
I don't like her. I don't think she's a good person or good for the country or anything like that. But man, it's really fucking stupid that they had her in there asking her questions about Epstein and not, addressing the orange elephant in the room.
Yeah, because the thing about Hillary Clinton is, as much as people do dislike her, she's not in the Epstein files.
No, and as much as I hated voting for her over Trump, don't make me do it, but I would do it again.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't regret it then, but I don't think I think every year since then I've only regretted it less.
Yeah.
And the reason Lauren Boebert continues to prove herself to be a gigantic moron is that the reason it was bad that she took photos of Hillary and sent them to Benny Johnson was because the Republicans demanded that it be behind closed doors. They demanded that it was originally they didn't want any recording of it at all.
Right. No, they negotiated. They did a good job. I mean, honestly, like they at this point, the Clintons, they understand when people are trying to fucking smear them. It's essentially,
Yeah.
She sat for 8 hours during the Benghazi hearings crap, and it's like they didn't find anything on her then, man. They didn't.
No,
there was nothing. She's just sitting there like, what the fuck are you guys doing this for?
Yeah.
Well, I think she was there for 6 hours this time, and she's not in the Epstein files.
Yeah.
How do you question somebody about the
12
Epstein
hours.
files?
Okay, thank you.
And she's not in them.
And also, I'll say this is a compliment to her because I didn't realize she's almost 80 fucking years old. She's still fucking smart. Like, I mean, like sharp is what I mean. She's like fucking on it. She's aware of everything that's going on and shit. Unlike other 80-year-old presidents, you know what I mean? She's It's I don't know.
Doing better than Trump. Doing better than Trump.
It's pretty frustrating, man. Things are in a weird spot, and then the Chuds are fucking cheering on this merger because what that means is this is what I think is going to happen with the Ellisons. I'm kind of going worst case scenario. I suspect that their bid to own all this shit, like they already have TikTok, they have what fucking CBS, they have Paramount, they have all that, and now they're gonna have all this presumably if it goes through, and I think that they're just gonna flood the zone with bullshit. I think they're trying to do social manipulation essentially through media. That's exactly why the Chuds, because that's what they want.
I mean, this is going to be a massive merger, make a massive film studio, and it'd finally be a film studio that could seriously compete with Disney. And I would normally be like, okay, I guess that's something, but
we know
knowing it's the Ellisons, it's like just gross and just.
Yeah, but I think where the Chuds' hope is misplaced, and where I think you can take some positivity, is that I just don't see how this is going to work for them, because since Paramount has been owned by the Ellisons, what have they actually put out that's been sort of Chud friendly and successful? Paramount put out Star Trek, which they all hate.
Yeah.
And they've continued to put out Star Trek, which they all hate. They've had no real successes in film. The last Mission Impossible, they all hated. Everybody hated. It was a bomb. They haven't really had a success since Top Gun Maverick. And so this is by no means a guarantee of success, or a guarantee that any of their anti-woke films, if they do decide to go down that route,
well, no, I mean,
will
that's
be a success.
As Bob says in the chat, it's not sustainable. Like, there's not a market for this shit, as we mentioned. The $800 earning Gina Carano movie. Like, there's not a market for it. I don't think that is the point. I think that I feel like that this is and it's not really based on direct evidence, but I mean, tell me the vibes aren't this. This is Epstein class shit. They're closing ranks amongst themselves to maintain any power that they can, because they're actually afraid they're gonna have to fucking face some accountability at some point. The writing's on the wall, and they're using the resources they have, which is more money than Jesus. Jesus poured more money than God. He had a lot of money. To just buy everything so that they can control the narratives. Ever since Nixon was fucking outed for his, in hindsight comparison, very fucking quaint crimes, the Republicans have made it their mission to make sure that they can get to a point where they can just bypass any fucking criticism, bypass any negative, journalism or anything, holding them accountable for anything. And that's what it's all about. The conservative movement, whatever you want to call it, fascists, conservatives, fucking libertarians, every single one of them are against accountability. That's what they're fucking desperate to avoid. Look at the response to Me Too. Look at the response to Black Lives Matter. Look at the response to, everything is about them just like never being accountable for a goddamn thing ever. And that's what they're trying to create the world where that's possible.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case,
go ahead, Ryan.
Well, in this case, it's pretty clear that the Allisons don't care about the sort of the fictional media of the entertainment media of the arm. They're just interested in the news. But the way that's going to fail is, let's say you turn CBS and CNN into the next Fox. You're still competing with Fox. At the moment, Fox have complete dominance over the right-wing media. By making your media more right-wing, you're not going to attract Fox viewers, or if you are, you're going to just dilute the market for all of you. It's not going to make people more right-wing necessarily.
No, I suspect actually it's going to do the opposite, because what this would achieve in on a long enough timeline anyway is an actual legitimate, organic, independent, not just media, art's going to fucking flourish. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then and as well as just like a general cultural fucking resistance to this what is going to be overwhelmingly obviously a fucking corporate papering over all sense of culture and art and society with corporate shit,
Plus the audience for sort of network news is quite frankly is dying, so they're not even reaching that many people.
I mean, watch for shows now. Honestly, pirate the fuck out of shit right now. Go, get you a VPN, make sure you got a VPN, and then pirate the shit out of whatever shows that you might want to watch at some point in the future, because you never know at this point. They might fucking just throw all kinds of shit away. You never fucking know. These are legitimately nihilistic fucking people. They don't believe in anything except money and control. And if they believe they can gain one or the other by fucking burning down a library of whatever media, they'll do it.
I mean, Big Fieldy poses an interesting question: where will people get the news based on the actual truth if the right wingers buy up all the networks? A lot of people don't go to the networks now for their news.
I think you guys are you're half right, man. Like, think about this. Yeah, it's about controlling the news companies, but that's not the only media that they recognize has an effect on culture. That's the reason these chuds that we've talked about all these years, that's the reason they do what they do, because they recognize that media as well, it reflects culture, it informs culture. There's a symbiotic relationship between people and whatever's going on in movies and stuff like that. So that's why they're so against that shit. And they want to not just control CNN, but fucking whatever DC's doing, whatever, Looney Tunes, or what, I don't remember, Harry Potter, I guess. I don't remember what all is under Warner Brothers, but
Jesus Christ, the Ellisons would have control of DC. God damn.
They've taken CBS, which was like a fucking a bastion of goddamn, journalistic integrity for 100 years. The home of Brokaw and Brokaw was at CBS, right? And all these people, and then within 3, 4, 5 months, it's just all gone.
Yeah.
It's done.
I mean, you already had fucking Barry Weiss tanking the fucking 60 Minutes story, and 60 Minutes already took a hit on the tobacco story like 20 years ago. Yeah. And they're kind of like rebuilding their brand, and then fucking Barry Weiss just starts tanking their stories because they aren't talking to the fucking White House, even though they reached out to the White House said no, and fucking she's just like, oh no, well if they say no, then you can't report it. It's like, fuck off. Just getting these fucking hacks in charge of fucking news. It's frustrating.
It is, but also, I just don't see it working. I mean, I'm sure people in chat and yourselves might have come across the news channel GB News over here, which is a joke news channel. Basically, it's our version of Fox. It's the one that Critical Drinker appeared on, defending that clip from the Paramount show. Funnily enough, the oil baron one. GB
Land.
Yeah, Landman, that's the one. GB News hasn't made a profit since it launched 4 or 5 years ago. Every single year it's reported massive losses, and they're just billionaires are just pumping money into it to use it as a propaganda arm. But it's not really got any hold in mainstream media over here. It's considered a joke, other than by the right-wing idiots that watch it. So
but I mean, they're willing to play a long game, though. That's the thing. Everything that's happening now has been kind of set into motion over the course of decades prior. So I mean, they might be looking at this just beginning for their. I don't know. I like to think that most people have a kind of innate repulsion to the kind of shit they're trying to do. But maybe that's naive.
Yeah, well, I think as bad people are necessarily navigating the truth, people also bump up against lack of authenticity. And people can smell a lack of authenticity for the most part. And I think that's where it's going to fail. But yeah, let's wait until the deal at least goes through before we make any.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, it could be. I've actually seen somebody say that it seems like, based on their calculations, that they don't actually have the liquid cash that they need to make this happen, which is fucking crazy, because that's the whole thing why they pushed it. That's why they were saying they were the ones to go with, because we're the ones that have the cash.
I mean, they were manipulating their connections at the White House, trying to get this. I mean, Netflix had this deal kind of locked in, and then all of a sudden Paramount comes out of nowhere and says, "Oh, we can actually up that bid," because before they were like they couldn't. And
so whenever, like you said, Netflix had it in the bag. It was all pretty much done except for paperwork signed and whatnot. And I remember seeing that and them saying that Skydance, CBS, they're going to try and give us another offer, whatever. We'll hear them out. Basically just we'll hear them out. But we've pretty much already got our minds made up. And I'm like, oh man, that's giving me a weird feeling. And I was right. The feeling was right, rather. So.
But yeah, there are still even reports right now that Paramount doesn't actually have the cash. Doesn't even. Sorry.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm sure we'll find that out one day. Hopefully.
I mean, what we already know now is sus as fuck.
That's good. That's good to know. But I mean, hopefully we will also be that way if it comes to that. What are we doing? What are you talking
about? There was also this story. You guys remember Kang, right?
Oh yeah, he's a conqueror, but pretty sure he was something happened. He got beaten by, was it Iron Man beat him or what?
No, he was convicted of a crime.
The
legal system got him.
They got him. Got by his own actions. God damn it! Every time
defeated by.
And what do you do whenever you're a famous person who gets, caught and your career is affected because you did something really shitty and you're expected to be accountable for it? What do? Right-wing pivot.
Yeah. Jonathan Majors making movies with the Daily Wire. And this also speaks to like their goal to infect lots of media and art, because we have all this Daily Wire content, of which I don't know anybody who's watching it other than to make fun of it. Like
literally nobody.
Does anybody know anybody who seriously watches anything on Daily Wire Plus? I can't think of a single fucking person.
I think that was a fake thing
that was a joke. I asked people to look that up, and that is a joke. I thought it was hilarious though, and I wanted to make fun of it mercilessly if it was real.
Like they were going to make a Sinners type movie, but they're going
to be twins, and it's going to be a Sinners, anti-woke Sinners. I'm like, oh my god.
But the possibility of them actually doing that now has increased dramatically. But yeah, it's disappointing, man. I guess Oh, dogs. What are you barking at, dog?
I will say I think he's a decent actor. But
yeah, he's great.
also fuck him.
Like his performance as was it the well, I forget what he was called in goddamn Loki season 1, but
God,
like
what
that
was
whole
it?
performance was phenomenal. Like he was terrific in that.
It wasn't He Who Watches, but it was something similar to that.
He Who Remains.
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then you know, like in that third not Rocky, but I'm sorry, Creed movie, he was really good in that.
Yeah, he was solid in that one. Totally underrated movie.
All three of them good movies. I feel like.
Yeah.
The funny thing about this story, though, and how it mirrors perfectly the Gina Carano story, is that they've the Daily Wire have picked up somebody that their audience hates. They picked a woman first. Now they've picked a black man to be in their film. I mean, they're not particularly good at making films anyway. But by casting people that they and the Chuds that we cover have been priming to hate, it doesn't really going to. What audience are they going to attract in?
Well, what it does is it gives them the feeling of like, yeah, no, we got a black guy or whatever. Like they feel like they've I don't know. I'm just guessing here, but that's what it seems like. Is they like to rub it in. You know how they love to have their tokens that they can point to. Like, see,
yes,
we're not racist. We've got Eric July.
Yeah, I was about to say I'm not racist. I bought Eric July's comic book.
By the way, if we wanted to talk about something, there is some follow up on some Eric July stuff, but we can do that later maybe. I know it's supposed to be short.
I don't know if I really know this, but
well, he did a very short video riding the algorithm wave based on the Ernie versus Comics Explained thing, and basically addressed the idea that the Rippaverse is white supremacist, because apparently somebody said it was. So
I don't know if I'd necessarily say the Rippaverse is.
No,
Eric definitely pushes that line.
You know, depending on what your definitions are, do we think that he's like just literally going to the Klan meeting stuff? No, absolutely not. But he is absolutely willing to lend his platform and voice and face and everything to the service of, you know, what is essentially in part a white supremacist movement. I don't think it's hard to prove that. You know what I mean? Anyway. Barely.
I mean,
listen, they're so desperate. They're now selling digital comics.
One thing I've been noticing is that like all the recent books I get advertised are all written by Eric July, except I think we still have Seaman by Chuck Dixon coming out. I don't know if anybody's aware of that. Actually, I don't know if we brought that up. Let me bring that up real fast.
Yeah, I mean, July will continue to claim that the Rippaverse is a massive success, but let's be honest, we all know it's clinging on. And the more comics they make, the worse it gets for them, because the higher their overheads are. You make one comic and you sell 100,000 copies, you make a lot more money than that than if you sell 10 comics selling only 10,000 copies.
But I did think it was wild. So like I haven't seen it anymore, but like the new Yaira is supposed to be written by Eric July, which I find very sus.
Yeah, what happened to those chicks, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The sisters that did weird porn together.
You mean the Law Masters? Yeah, don't know what happened to them.
Yeah,
but I know isn't the woman who is supposed to be like his marketing guy, isn't she now running for a political position? Sure, I saw that somewhere. I don't know too much about it. I don't know. Try not to keep up with everything going on beyond the awful content of the comics.
I mean, here's our variant covers. Horseman. Horseman. Okay.
Where's that one cover? The one that has a precariously placed guy in front of.
We're getting to it.
Well, we got Horseman here. Okay, guy shooting a gun here, and then this one. This one, he's hitting a guy, so it's covering up the whore part of his. So he's not a whore. He just the semen. I'm sorry. There's an artist fucking with him with that cover. There is no way.
I mean, somebody has got to be messing with them at some
Yes.
How do you get to that stage where you've put it on your bloody website and it says the semen?
Yes.
At no point is anybody like, that sounds a bit like.
Well, do you remember we learned why they decided to call it Horseman? Remember? If I can find that clip real quick.
I'm trying to remember. There was something.
It was revealing for sure.
Is it because the main character's mother was a big fan of horses?
Yes.
Did she ride the horses? Did she?
Yes.
Did she ride the horses? Wink, wink.
Here we go. Got it right here.
Apparently, Horseman is a chess reference. As someone who has played chess most of his life, I'm confused by it. It makes
That's
no
called
sense to
a
me, but
knight.
sure.
Well, that's not right. Because look, I found out what it really is. Secret is out. Well, you have 3 different options. We're not sure which one it is, but it's one of these for sure. One of these. Horseman. Obsolete name for a lecherous or promiscuous man, one who frequently rides women. 4 horsemen. This is a sexual act involving a man and a woman. The man will have sex with 4 spots in this order: anus, vagina, titty fuck, and mouth. And this is the one I think it is. That's why I made it bigger. Horseman is just a man with the genitals of a horse. And I think that's what Chuck and Joe were going for here. I really do. And I just like,
Yeah, I think Chuck just had this type of idea in his mind, and he is just focused on it. He's thinking about it nonstop, and he just wants to get a book out about it.
It's like he's so excited. Yep.
It would explain why the semen's such a big deal. There's going to be a lot.
Yep. It all comes back. I mean, the actual reason why he's called Horseman, now unwantedly knowing his origins, is even stupider. I don't know if either of you know what the actual.
No, I've not read it. No.
He was part of an elite soldering team, and there were 4 of them, and they were known as the 4 Horsemen, and the other 3 have died.
So
And
now
that's why
he's
he's the
the one horseman.
Clever.
Yeah.
And the 4 horsemen, and then yet they are heroes?
Yeah.
He's a
That's
hero?
where things start to fall apart. The 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse were heroes.
Well, I wonder what Chuck would say to the, of course, he's probably awash in right-wing propaganda and doesn't believe that Trump is even in the Epstein files, when in fact he is the main character besides Epstein. But like
Possibly more so than Epstein.
yeah, I mean, it might just be the Trump files and Epstein's in.
Yeah.
But like he wrote that comic book Alt Hero Q, which is literally about I did read that. I own it. This dude literally uncovers the fucking, or starts uncovering. I had the first issue that I wasn't gonna buy anymore. I think I might have just fucking snagged that from somewhere. But anyway, yeah, he's like on the run, government conspiracy. They're trying to kill him because he's figured out something he wasn't supposed to. And then the very last page is he's been getting texts from a mysterious benefactor the whole time, giving him information. And then at the end, he's like, "What do I call you?" And it says Q. And it's like dun, dun, dun. And so, I assume it was going to go on to, because he did literally kill a guy that was, had some CSAM on his computer that he found, and killed that guy. So it's pretty clear it's going to go down that road. Plus, also, it was published by what's his name? The white nationalist comic book publisher. Fuck, I forget his name.
I don't know that one. I don't know. You might be shocked to hear I don't follow that one.
DC Comics, that's what I know.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
That joke will be really funny in about 6 to 8 months.
Mm-hmm. I'm really enjoying DC too. Goddamn, what are they gonna do?
Yeah.
I mean, not that I want to focus on it too much, but I do think it's hilarious that the character's called Horseman, and it's based on the fact that he was part of this team known as the 4 Horsemen, because that's not their full title. It's the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
Right.
War, famine, pestilence, and death.
So which one is he?
Yeah, Pestilence. Brilliant. What a hero he is.
Yeah.
War, perfect.
I mean, look, Rick Remender already did the Four Horsemen the perfect way. They can't be topped in his Uncanny X-Force run. Those four, the final Horsemen, as they were called, were fucking awesome and gross and terrifying. And there was one of them, like the Pestilence one, could give like all kinds of, basically any disease ever known to man. He could give it to somebody, and he gave them all to Wolverine at one time for a minute. It was fucking really upsetting and gross.
So that character was based on RFK, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah. Have some whole milk.
Well, let's not also forget that Marvel had their own Four Horsemen of Apocalypse. So they've already... This is not new ground. It's well-trodden ground for comics. So it's not even original in that sense. But it's just so stupid that he would then go on to be kind of a hero who is based on a horse rather than like one of the... Like, it's based on the horse of the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Not one of the horsemen. It's based on the horse bit.
The actual horse, yeah. It doesn't make any sense. And honestly, I don't know. I in my head canon, Chuck Dixon got an offer from Eric July to write a comic, and he looked into that Rippaverse and was like, "Oh wow, this is bad. But I do like money, and it does serve my right-wing agenda." So then he called up Joe Bennett and was like, "Hey Joe, you just got fired for hating Jews, right?" "Yeah. Why don't we do this comic? This dude has money from Glenn Beck that he's offering to just, he thinks that, he's going to throw his money around. Let's just take his money." And then they called the other guy. What's his name? The skinny one that looks like he's constantly dying. The one he wrote the Black Punisher comic in the 90s, where he literally made Frank Castle black guy. But yeah,
oh,
God. He got him involved. He's like, "Hey man, you won't believe this grift we got in on where we got this guy. He's got Glenn Beck money. He's trying to make a comic book company and stuff." So I think, in my head canon, they're all just fucking trolling him and making money off of him, and he doesn't even realize it. He's like, "Yeah, Horseman's great idea. I love that."
Oh God. It doesn't help that Eric July is just a terrible fucking writer, and even Chuck Dixon half-assing it it's gonna be better.
You're
it's
right.
gonna.
This was the lady that vomited beetles. Sorry.
I mean, how can you run a business like that? Just so badly. How can you not spot a terrible, terrible idea? I mean, what are these pitches like? For a start, none of these comics manage to explain the characters within like the hundreds of pages they're given. They're 3 or 4 times bigger than a regular comic, and they can't tell a story as good as like. Funny enough, they can't.
Expensive.
They can't tell a story as good as that in Amazing Fantasy 15, a comic from 60 years ago.
What book is that?
What is that? What happens in that one?
God damn it, Ryan! You can't do gotcha questions, okay? Come on, you can't do.
Jesus.
I realize that's going completely off topic. We were talking about character motivation, and I brought up something completely irrelevant just to throw you off track and confuse you.
Yeah, some completely irrelevant comic book that has nothing to do. Like, we're talking about comic books here, and you're talking about Amazing Fantasy 15. What relation could they possibly have to each other?
I want to get back to Isom.
Man doesn't even have a ponytail.
Yeah, shit.
Come on, yeah, shit.
Doesn't even look like a horse.
It's really, really dumb. He looks more like a kind of like a Dark Knight almost, like a man of bat. No. Speaking of DC though, here's a thing that's kind of interesting. Let me pull this up. It's only a minute long, this clip, but there's several clips of this guy talking about stuff. On the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast, we've got.
Oh, I've heard of this fellow before.
He said you've been very
James
kind
is
to him,
cool.
James Gunn.
Look, I wish them all the best, and I don't have any. Like, it is what it is. It kind of it's a weed. That 3-movie trilogy is a weed that just won't die, and so it doesn't need to, like, it grows on its own. It has its own life, and it doesn't really is not concerned, I don't think, with James's Superman, which is amazing, and all the best to them. And I can't wait to see the next movie, and it's just awesome. It just really, to me, it's just not the same thing. It's just like a different thing.
Is there anything when you saw James's version that only James could do in that way that you appreciated in his take
Of course, James is singular in his storytelling, in his ability to kind of channel sort of mythological pop culture into what I would consider just iconic and very particular point of view that's both poignant and funny and all the things, and I think he's he's the best at it that I can think of, and I think that he's a great steward of that.
I mean, as much as I dislike Snyder's interpretation of all of the DC universe, that's a really shitty question to ask somebody who was just doing that job and who is friends with the guy who's doing it now. Is he doing a better job than you, do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't feel like he was asking that. I feel like he was just trying to, because I feel like he was asking. Josh Horowitz is pretty good, in my opinion, at being on a line between industry questions and fan interest questions. You know what I mean? Whenever he has to.
Oh,
yeah. So I feel like that's what he was doing, but
I don't think it was a gotcha, but I do think it's an incredibly difficult question for Snyder to answer. I mean, how do you answer that? Because he can't slag off the last guy because he was the last guy.
So Big Fieldy, no, I've seen nothing listen, I'm not a huge fan of Snyder's films. There are some that are okay, but I don't see him being oh yeah, let's make Trump propaganda. I don't see him saying that.
No, I mean, I don't think he's politically literate in particular. I know he's got sort of a weird fascination for Ayn Rand and stuff, but he was pretty adamant when he made that statement about geeks and gamers that he didn't sound like a Trump fan.
Well, no. The studio made him say that. Is what
yeah.
The studio said, "Hey, you better talk about your Asian daughters and cry whenever you talk about it." And
it's also worth saying he was actually saying two statements. He was saying geeks and gamers, I didn't agree to be on there, but also I'm against racism. They're completely separate statements. They have nothing. They're completely unrelated.
You said basically, if you didn't actually say it, but you could hear it. No.
Yeah.
It's clearly. By the way, these are the excuses that we've heard about this shit from Chuds that want to. Man, the way that they fucking just avoid cognitive dissonance by creating these goddamn crazy narratives, it's obvious he was talking about them. He was talking about geeks and gamers, and then for that one guy that I debated to be oh, the studio made him say that. It's he literally brings up his daughters and starts tearing up talking about it. The studio made him do that. I don't know if he gets paid enough for that.
Yeah, I didn't think he was that good an actor.
Right. But there's this other part of this that I want to look at, another short clip that I wonder if Pillar of Garbage has seen this one, because I know that he's a big fan of Superman as a Jesus metaphor. Pillar of Garbage is, he loves that.
100%.
Superman is
his favorite
Jesus
thing. So
now we also knew that because it was a birth and resurrection story, obviously we're not lowering him off the cross by accident. This is not it's not the Jesus metaphors are not that they really went vaguely with that. That was really, I don't know if that, it's a real reach, to kind of say that's what's happening. I just felt like that was an important mythological touchstone that if you.
So it's good to know that he's at least not naive to his own heavy-handedness.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He knows he's being heavy-handed. He knows he's being very obvious. Because that's always been part of my, not criticism, but I'm just I wonder if he thinks what he's doing is subtle. You know what I mean?
I will say part of my criticism is if you want to make Superman a Jesus metaphor, you can. It's not meant to be that, but
it's the least interesting thing to do. And it's he does it all through just blatant visuals and there's
barely any story substance to it, and it's thin as fuck, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah, it was fine if you want to do that as a metaphor, but I still think it's a stupid metaphor.
The more interesting version of literally what he was doing was, because I actually liked the through line of Batman, Bruce Wayne, getting radicalized against Superman and just like going fucking nuts and thinking he's got to kill him. I like that. And then Superman dies and shows him that oh shit, this guy cared more than I realized, and blah blah, and then basically him essentially saving Bruce from the dark path with his death, and then they bring him back. Whatever, all that would have worked just fine for me if it was just more humanized. It was more about, like, for one thing, give us a movie for Bruce and Clark to become friends to a degree, or something like before he realizes, I don't know, that's Superman. Who knows? But well, just
instead of doing Batman v Superman, do World's Finest or something like that. Yeah. Fuck. No. It doesn't seem like that big a stretch.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I've literally got a video on my channel that's titled "It's About That," because Edgier Than Thou had not seen that clip before, and so we watched it on stream. But I've called it literally the moment that basically the tide started turning. Then the things started, going against the Chuds' favor after years of them kind of basically having dominance on YouTube and getting their way a lot. I think that kind of put a big crack in the shell.
I'd also say that it's not going to sit well with right wingers that he calls it a mythology.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what having just recently watched Dogma, Chris Rock's character, the Apostle, literally says that.
Yeah.
Man, oh god, watch Dogma if you haven't seen it in a long time, because I hadn't seen it since it was on, because it hasn't been on anything digital or Blu-ray ever. Now it's out. You can buy it.
Yeah, I believe now you can buy it and not help Weinstein. So hey,
right.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a DVD copy.
Some of Kevin Smith's fucking lamer, things that he would do as a director are on full display, but there's a charm to it as well. So.
I would argue there's a charm to all his movies, although some are definitely worse than others. There's a charm to all of them.
I've been personally hit by this, though, because I had one of the original DVDs from the sort of 98, 99 release, and that was worth some serious money.
Whoa.
Up until about 6 weeks ago.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's because it's crazy, man. Like that.
I didn't think about that. I have the DVD somewhere too. So yeah.
We even got a Blu-ray release in the UK, which is bare bones, but still, we did have that. But yeah, weird.
The things like the Golgothan scene are really frustrating and cool at the same time. The shit monster.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh great, this looks great. This big shit monster. All the effects on that look pretty good still. But then it was just like all the action happens off screen.
Yes.
And it's like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Well,
away and you hear a bunch of shit happening. Like, no. He needs to do a George Lucas, go back in and like put in new scenes of, anyway.
And then you've got in the background.
And then you've got the beautiful scene with Jason Lee as Azrael describing how hell isn't this sort of fiery place of torment, but it was actually an absence of God, and that was what people thought of hell for a long time. It was not that it was not that you were being punished. The punishment was that you would never be in the presence of God, which is why it was a punishment for Lucifer.
But do we know who it was, like historically, that started introducing was it just the Catholic Church, basically?
It might have been the Catholics. It might have been specifically us about 1,000 years ago. I don't know exactly who did it, but
I think that maybe I feel like it was probably done intentionally, because it's hard to get people to be afraid of just an absence of something. So they need like somebody was like, we need a narrative where it's like you're literally, it's hot, there's lots of fire, you're getting pitchforks stuck up your ass, all that. I don't know, just a guess. But so he continues on here. Let's finish this up.
We're avoiding that. You were sort of avoiding the why a little bit of Superman. You were kind of like, you were kowtowing to some sort of like, I don't know what, public pressure or like non-commercialization. I don't know what, but you're just you're pussy now, really. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Instead,
Like
you leaned in. You said, we're
I
going to go.
leaned into 100. But by the way, it's the why I thought it was cool. Like why I thought.
So he's just wrong. Like it's not what Superman. Like to think that you have to make that clear.
Yeah.
Is like he's the one that's known for doing that more than anybody.
Yeah.
You know, and
I think there's a way of telling a Superman story that leans heavily into Superman as Jesus.
Yeah.
But just not the obvious stuff. Don't do the crucifixion and resurrection stuff. Do the stuff about him being an outsider against the government. Like
honestly, yeah.
James
Gunn's Superman is kind of more like Jesus than his characterization is more like Jesus, right? Because he's actually, just wanting to do the right thing and just wanting to help people out and stuff like that. And yeah, it's he's got compassion and empathy in a world that kind of doesn't want you to have that, which is what Jesus did, allegedly, supposedly. Whoa, what? Oh, yeah, you just got touched by an angel, son. Yeah. Good times. Anyway, what else we got?
I mean, that's it for me. Do we want to talk about the future of the Shillcast, or do we want to?
Yeah, let's do that. It's going to go on a million years, forever and ever.
Yeah, forever and ever, every week, uninterrupted.
No. Yeah, it's so the thing with the Shillcast is that it's always been kind of impressive to me that we're able to meet up every week with consistency. And I think we've probably only missed by accident, like by chance, maybe a handful of days in 3 years almost or some shit.
Yeah, we've maybe skipped maybe probably less than 10 Wednesdays over the years we've been doing this. Maybe
particularly over the last 2 to 3 years, where it's been pretty much every single week. I can't think of, other than last week, a time when we didn't have some form of Shillcast. And to be honest, that was probably a mistake. We could have all done with breaks at certain points. And
you know what? So here's the deal. I mean, there was the miscommunication of a couple of weeks ago, where Eric wasn't sure that we were doing one, and then didn't get an answer and didn't see where I had responded about it, and then I also was running late and not able to get it set up like I normally do, which indicated to him that there wasn't one, and then of course some chuds found that apparently, and are trying to make that into something it's not. Just to be clear, we're all friends here. We like the thing that has driven this show, this stream to happen for a long time now has been the fact that we just like hanging out and talking about it, shit with each other. The need for the initiative and Shillcast stuff, it's kind of not gone. Like there's always going to be a need for a president.
I mean, that's one of the things I really feel over like the past maybe year or so. So like when we first started, it felt like we were really necessary. It's almost like we have to be doing this because
nobody's doing
nobody else is doing it. No.
And now, in small part because of the associations we've made, but then just also because enough people have in general seen the need to, push back against this stuff, because it's understandable. For the longest time, the conventional wisdom, because I heard this a lot with my channel just on my own early on, was like people just say, just leave them alone, just leave them over there in the corner to do what they're doing, just don't worry about them, blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, but that's the thing, that's how they grow. You think that they're not growing while they're doing that, but they are. And so
for the longest time, that's how I treat them. I ignored them for years on YouTube. I was on YouTube. I knew they were out there, and I was like, I'm ignoring that because that's fucking stupid. And they grew to the point where they're just invading you fucking comment sections and shit. And it's like, okay, this has to be stopped. This, and I don't even know how to stop it, but at least has to be combated and said, this is wrong.
Yeah. And, we've made associations and connections that, like, you guys don't even know how some of the content from some of the creators that you watch content about, has some of it's got come from one of the other ones in the group or in the loose association, and ideas have been worked on together and stuff like that. And it's been if not overtly outwardly collaborative, it's been sort of a support network behind the scenes, which is one of the reasons we started doing this too, because it's you get bombarded by chuds whenever you start talking about what they're doing. And that's honestly, I don't feel like most of us would still be doing this content if it wasn't for the fact that we found a way to, have like a support network and come together and stuff. So I probably wouldn't be. I'm pretty confident I would not. But of course I'm kind of not. So that's the other thing. I haven't made a video, or I'm still slowly working on my last video essay, but that's a whole other thing. But yeah, I'm done. Like, I'm so over talking about Chuds. I'm gonna continue making content in different ways and stuff, but like I'm kind of disconnecting myself right now because I just need to kind of reset my perspective on this stuff. And anyway, but other than that, we're gonna be back. Good.
Yeah, I was just gonna say we started this as a way to diminish some of their power and say that this is not what movie and TV criticism is. It's selling hate. It's hate mongering is what they were doing, and there is an alternative. And our goal was always to point not only to sort of debunk their more egregious lies, but point people in the direction of better content. And the fact that other people have stepped up to now make that better content. I mean, people like Pillar of Garbage and the Birdman and Angramuglia and Otley Noah and a lot of other people now have Eric with his Debunks channel has done a brilliant job, and the more people there are fighting against it, that we can point to say, look, these people legitimately love the media they are sometimes critical of. I mean, all of the people I've just mentioned have made videos about criticizing media, but just not in the same way of saying, oh, look, there's a black person in it. Oh, look, he's a woman. I mean, it's interesting. I've been working on a script for Die Hard now for weeks, and it's been hard going because every time I think it's finished, I hear something new about it, and it never even occurred to me to look into this because why would it? But in the book that Die Hard's based on, Al Powell is white. Oh no, they did a race swap in Die Hard.
I knew that.
And nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Originally, they were looking at Robert Duvall for the part, which would have been horribly miscast, I think, but would have completely changed the dynamic. But so clearly, race swaps don't actually matter. They only matter if somebody tells you they matter, and that's where it's all.
They only matter if you are someone who believes that there is a fucking great replacement happening.
Yes.
If you are worried that you being a white person or whatever it is, that you're going to be somehow discounted or diminished or something because, oh no, there's more people of color in movies or existing at all, which is just the most nonsensical, insecure, snowflake ass bitch perspective to have. It's but yeah, like you're saying, there's a whole crew of people that are way more successful than any of us ever got doing this, and not even jealous. I've been happy to support them all, and happy that there are people that are more well suited for it than I am, I suppose.
I mean they have much bigger audiences than us, and that they've been able to that's been a help. But not only that, they've also used a lot of the stuff that we provided and helped out their arguments. And I mean, so
not only that, a lot of them, they are professional YouTubers, and so they can devote the amount of time that they can to it. Whereas we do this for fun.
Yeah, no, I've worked throughout my entire YouTube career, so I mostly full time. Recently,
and I never prioritized making money, which is maybe kind of maybe a mistake to a degree because that's what got me to where I ended up demonetized and now demonetized again. But I'm not even worried about it anymore. I'm not fighting it anymore. I'm just done. With the actual fan, I'm going to let it become a kind of an archive, I think, as I move on. But yeah.
But that is not to say that the Shillcast is ending, because it's not.
No.
It's not. Eric wanted to be able to do a show whenever with his changing schedule and stuff like that, and also not feel like he was, because essentially we were the hosts since the start of it, and that does become a bit of pressure. Does become a bit of like, oh God, with everything else I got to do the Shillcast. and he's already doing his own channel and stuff like that. And it's like, I get it. I haven't in the last month or so, I haven't felt like doing any streams on my channel, and I really haven't, or I haven't actually. I had technical issues, but in a way that kind of coincided with my just like I need a break, because the thing is, I'm getting married in April. I'm also moving, and I want to kind of reset my life. I've been doing this for fucking 6 years, since the late 2019. I've been doing this shit, and I don't want to stay in the same habits and the same mentality that I've kind of been in. I want to move on to a new stage of life. I've done it several times in my life where it's like, okay, it's time to, take stock of what I've gone through the last few years, what I've learned, how can we adjust and do things a little bit better, but healthier, and move forward. And so that's what I'm going to be doing. But we will still be doing the Shillcast.
And if you're following me, you realize I'm still doing streams, but like edited videos have just vanished because I just don't have time to edit anything together. Even if it's just a stream clip, I don't even know if I really want to do stream clips anymore. I have so many video ideas I want to do, but like at work, I've been so busy and I've been making more money. So it's been like, okay, I'll put effort into that. And that's hurting the channel in that I'm not putting together videos, which get a lot more views. But I'm still able to do live streams and talk about comic books and movie trailers and the podcast where I talk about movies. And that's kind of all I wanted to do on YouTube, was talk about movies. And I'm fine debunking Chud videos and stuff like that too. It'll just be on the live streams. But yeah.
I mean, and that'll will give us something to do here, because I mean, one thing is for sure, like making it the priority for our content. I don't think Eric is able to do it because he does it in a fun way. He honestly has like a knack for it that has only gotten stronger.
I mean, that is part of the issue. Eric does what I used to do, but he does it better.
Yeah. But I think that us coming together to like, whoever's available on a given Wednesday to come together and just kind of laugh at Chuds, I think is also a good thing. I don't really want to spend a lot of time like taking their narrative seriously or whatever anymore.
Well, that's the thing. Like, your narratives have gone so fucking ridiculous, and you have to be so cooked in the sauce to believe them. It's like, I don't even know what the effort is in debunking them most of the time. It's like, this is just stupid, right?
Yeah, I think we're at the point now where we don't have to take them seriously anymore. And I mean that literally. They are just jokes.
I mean, we do take them seriously in the sense that they can still cause harm. They still contribute to... Yeah. That's the thing. Even if every Chud got fucking deplatformed today, unfortunately, they have created an offshoot of fandom that will exist and be annoying for the rest of our days. And that's... not something that we can stop from being true. There are people that their brains are poisoned. They're going to spread that fucking poison. But we can hopefully, take back fandom culture to make that seem as silly as it should seem. You know what I mean? There's always going to be toxic fans. So,
and the positive to that is that they only exist in the online world, because these guys are such pussies in their real lives that they wouldn't dream of doing this at a con. And I mean, it's been a while since I've been to a con, but cons were always inclusive. They always welcomed everybody, all the ones I ever went to. And you would never get shit from these idiots in real life, because they're scared and they're wimps. And that's why they've retracted to their corner of the internet.
And the biggest ones are the pussiest ones. I'll say that. Like erotic critical drinker, they are absolutely, you can tell whenever they go on Piers Morgan or whatever, and they get challenged on there, they fucking just clam up. They cannot even handle someone directly challenging them. It's fucking crazy.
I just covered on my last stream Nerdrotic's Piers Morgan's appearance. I thought it was interesting. So Piers Morgan brought on this woman who did a video about the Tourette's guy that was pretty cringe, but she had also apologized for it. But Piers Morgan spent pretty much the whole interview berating her for that video that she already apologized for. That she already said, "I've educated myself. I've learned about it. I apologize for this video." And he spent the whole thing berating her. And Nerdrotic, like in his edited thing that I saw through DJ, did a video where he talked about that appearance. And he plays these clips out of context, and he makes it sound like he was like really kicking her butt too. But the fact is, he was just kicking her while Piers Morgan was already.
Well, and also wasn't
down.
It was just like that, she was ableist.
Yes, yes.
And yet, Nerdrotic said the R slur multiple times in his video.
Yeah, I mean,
critical drinker. They all say the R slur. It's a complete
Yeah, but
hypocrisy.
you couldn't write a satire as good as this. He goes on there apparently to defend John Davidson
Mhm.
because he has a disability.
Yeah.
And one of the first things he does is say the R slur. And it's like, that's how you defend the disabled, is it? Or is your interest not in that at all? And you're just using one minority group to pick on another minority group because you're a gigantic wimp. You're a massive wuss. And then to go on and make the statement, as he does in that video, that he wouldn't dream of using the N-word. And I'm like, really? The guy who proudly displayed his N-word pass card with Ryan Canal and Jeremy Griggs, you wouldn't use that word ever?
From the bunker, are you suggesting that happens to be a guy like that you call a Gary, or are you saying that Gary goes to your local comic shop? That's it'd be interesting to hear.
Oh yeah, no, they do exist in the real world, but they are.
They would not die on the hill of the positions that they make their content about. They would not say these things to a bunch of people's faces repeatedly without getting probably punched, depending on where you go.
Sorry, I'm looking to see if I have the N-word pass clip somewhere.
Well, I mean, why would Piers Morgan do that? Because Piers Morgan is a fucking opportunist piece of shit.
I mean, he's a chud. He's probably not as chuddy as a lot of the guys, but he's a chud.
Well, he's got this.
He's a good representative of the center right mindset that a lot of people, I think, are. That's the kind of person that gets drawn to neurotic. Not necessarily even just conservatives, but people that like. Generally, they're kind of like pretty. They're I don't know. They think that this kind of stuff that neurotic spouts is common sense or whatever. The normal people don't care about this stuff or whatever. That's what I think.
Yeah. I mean, Piers Morgan's got this weird sort of anti-woke crusade that because he's an out-of-touch middle-aged man, basically, who got bullied off TV because he was questioned on something, and then stormed off like a wimp. And so it's no surprise that he would associate himself with Gary. Not understanding Gary to be anything other than, like himself, an anti-woke crusader. I mean, I guarantee if Piers wouldn't platform him if he'd seen all the stuff that we had, but he hasn't. He just gets these bookings through his talent agency, and has heard, people like Critical Drinker and Neurotic are anti-woke crusaders like him, and that's why he was on the show. And it was ridiculous not to do that much any background checking on these idiots. But yeah,
so
that's a good point.
we have a couple of videos that we got our hands on a while back that we haven't done anything with. We got to figure out what to do about that.
While you're gathering your thoughts, I just want to respond to Erebus 0001. Yeah, no DJ this week. If you saw his own Cultcast, which was on before this stream, he's currently starting work earlier, and so he's unable to join us after I don't know what the time zones are.
Probably pretty much the start time. Yeah, right.
Yeah, 2 p.m. Yeah, our start time basically.
But we're going to be on semi hiatus, so it works out.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the other thing we need to announce. Yeah, we're taking a short break. We might be back in the meantime, but I think Dane's concentrating on getting married, which is
his priorities are fucked. He's
really hard
on getting married.
Really hard on this.
Fuck, they're chuds, Dane. They're
yeah. So while Eric is off working and Dane's off planning his marriage, and Bob's also doing whatever you do, Bob.
Yeah, I'm not doing edited videos, but I am still streaming, so you can still watch me debunk chuds and cover comic books and trailers and talk about movies. In fact, got my podcast coming later tonight. We'll be talking about Martian, One Piece, and I'll be going over Blue Moon and Secret Agent, and Bobby will be going over Scream 7.
One thing I did see that made me laugh is that EFAP are currently, or well, no, I say they probably finished by now, but that would be a ridiculous thing to say. But they're currently covering Night of the Seven Kingdoms and saying how it's this gem in a sea of shitty media. Apparently, nothing else in the last year has come out that's been any good. I mean,
I'll say it was a good show. It was really fucking good.
Listen, man, it's excellent, and I've been really enjoying Starfleet Academy, and I'll happily admit that like Night of the Seven Kingdoms, I think was better than Starfleet Academy. But
ironic,
there's plenty of good stuff. There's plenty.
Oh yeah, but ironically, Eric broke the news on the Copecast that next season they've cast 2 black actors, so we'll see them turn on the show.
I mean, I did think it was a very white show. I will say that. Watching, I was like, man, this is white.
Well, not next season, so expect them to all turn on the show as a group.
No.
But, how anybody can say this is a bad media landscape when I will say 2 words to you from Apple Plus, which I know a lot of people don't have, but Slow Horses, which is my absolute recommendation. It's got 5 or 6 seasons now, and everyone is absolutely brilliant. And so if you get any free trial, set aside some time and watch that show.
I don't have Apple Plus, but I've heard nothing but great things about the shows on there. And I am probably going to cancel my Paramount.
You know what's about being an EFAP, I think, is that they have to because their audience captured that what their audience expects is them to. Everything has to be the most something or the least something. Everything has to be the best since whatever or the worst of all time, and it's like there's no fucking middle ground. It's just sad because I mean, you know, with somebody like Gary Nerdrotic and stuff, like I suspect maybe he watches some stuff and enjoys it without talking about it. You know what I mean? Like because that's what grifters do. With EFAP, I think they actually buy their own shit. Like they've smelled their own farts and whatnot, and they're just they actually do think this way, and that means that they have cut themselves off from such a fucking, you know, wide, like because they haven't happened to watch anything else that was more interesting than, you know, Night of the Seven Kingdoms. 9 Kingdoms actually. That to them that's just, well, you know, there's nothing else that's good. It's like, have you even looked? I literally, like, probably about once a month I go out of my way to go. I'll go on like Amazon or some other site where there's like, you know, usually Amazon Prime, and I'll just start digging through the movies listed and just like, oh, recommends this, see what that's about, this recommends this, bad movie is good movie. I'll just read through the premises and see what sounds interesting or what, you know, and I've come across a couple of things that are gems. And you know, quite a few of them actually.
Yeah, I mean, considering that Critical Drinker and all the others had an absolute piss fit over that Apple show that still hasn't aired with is it Jessica Chastain? Oh no, a woman is in it when they're making shows.
Oh yeah, like, The Savant. Yeah.
People in the comments are saying Shrinking, another brilliant show, Severance, The Studio, Ted Lasso, Pluribus from Vince McGill. Or McGilligan, what's his name? The Breaking Bad guy.
There's quite a few sci-fi
Vince
shows
Gilligan.
That's not really good to me. Yeah,
there's a lot of great stuff on there. My personal recommendation, as I said, is Slow Horses. I think that he's brilliant, and I can't recommend that enough.
I will check it out then. Yeah, I'm about to go through. I've just finished watching Battlestar Galactica with my fiance. And which made me want to then.
I've been interested in rewatching that. It's been a while.
Did you find it jarring when they introduced Barry Van Dyke in the Battlestar 80 series, making a complete shift from the earlier series with Dirk Benedict?
No. But yeah.
Yeah,
if
I ever get around
to you're going, Ryan.
I gotta go, but I'll be back in a few minutes. I don't know if you're gonna end or not, but I have to go for a few minutes. So if you're leaving, then bye.
Well, I know I don't have too much longer, but
well, you guys have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, everything. Thanks for watching, and Bob, Ryan, you're awesome. Shout out to Eric DeBunks.
Like and subscribe. Make sure to subscribe to Actual Fandom over there. Yes.
All right. Y'all have a good one. Later.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, obviously Dane was talking about the revival Battlestar Galactica show.
I mean, it says
They gender swapped a character though, Bob. So it must be woke nonsense. DI.
Oh,
nonsense.
dude. Who was it that played the original Starbuck? Was that Dirk Benedict that did that?
That
huge
was, yeah.
Fucking letter against Katie Sackhoff, and I think Katie Sackhoff was brilliant in that role. And I thought it was actually a clever way to continue kind of the spirit of the role, because the role would come off incredibly sexist when the new series was made, but you make it a woman, and it's like, oh, that kind of works. That kind of.
I do think it's funny how you wouldn't have thought that completely changing the dynamic of your show and introducing Barry Van Dyke would be a particularly viewer or rating winning prospect in 1980s television, but it happened twice because they did the same with Airwolf.
God, Airwolf, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
So yeah. That's it's in my mind because I'm currently writing a video about that, which probably will never come out, or it'll certainly be adapted, because it was gonna be about Stranger Things and how people were disappointed by that, and I'm like, you think you were disappointed by that 80s show or 80s set show?
Mm-hmm.
Some of us had to sit through turning on the show one week to have one set of characters in it, only for the next week to have completely different set of characters in it, and Barry Van Dyke being in two of them.
I mean, hell, you want to talk about a finale that's disappointing? I sat through Enterprise, okay? That was a bad finale. That was but yeah, I do think it does speak to the new Battlestar Galactica, that when lots of people reference it, they're talking about the remake. I haven't seen all of the original. I've seen episodes. I always thought it was a cool concept. So when they announced the remake, I was like, "Ooh, cool!" And
it was kind of an episodic show with the story arc of them trying to get to Earth, and then it just got really weird when they did get to Earth.
I did think it was funny in the original how they're the last of humanity, but like almost every week they encounter a planet filled with humans, and it's like
the best ones, the episodes where Lloyd Bridges turns up as the captain of a different Battlestar.
I have not seen that one. That sounds cool.
I think he's at least 2 episodes where his commander turns up.
Yeah.
But it's I think people forget how different the landscape was in the 1980s, and personally, I didn't get the disappointment with Stranger Things. I thought it was fine.
To a degree, I did. I thought it was fine though as well. For me, my biggest complaint is that they had that whole military storyline that they just dropped. It's like, okay, that's a huge storyline just drop. You were building it up that season even, and then in the finale, just we're done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have complaints to that finale, but overall, I thought it was fine. There's been far worse finales. Far worse.
And I think a lot of people who didn't grow up in the 80s, like we did, don't realize how disappointing a lot of television shows ended, where they just weren't on anymore.
Yeah.
There was no finale. The show just was replaced by something else.
I've heard about Lost. Yeah.
I mean, the sheer amount of kids' cartoons and drama shows that ended on a cliffhanger that was never resolved. I mean,
Spider-Man the animated series. Oh my God. Giant cliffhanger, never resolved. That's always fun.
Would you remember the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo with Vincent Price as a guest voice?
No, I don't remember that. Oh my God.
That's because it only lasted one series, and they didn't get to the point where the intention was to catch these 13 ghosts that had escaped, and they didn't get them all because they cancelled the show.
Well, I guess the ghosts are still out there.
Yeah.
Well, I got my podcast coming up, Brian. Anything you want to promote on your channel?
Not particularly, business as usual, and until I can find the time to finish these scripts that are now looming over me. But other than that, business as usual. Rockford Files episodes continuing. So, if you're a fan of the show, or if you're looking forward to the reboot, then I'll be eventually, once I finish reviewing, I'll be doing a few separate videos about the show, which are a bit more explanatory. But I think I'm still about a year away from finishing the series. So
It sounds like left-wing propaganda. I just gotta say.
Oh, it is 100% left-wing propaganda, and the bastards used time travel to go back in time and put politics into a show that was made in the 70s. And we all know they only started putting politics in TV shows in 2020.
Yeah, I mean, it was so like when they did do politics, it was so subtle. It wasn't in your face at all, you know.
That was the other thing I wanted to bring up. Actually, sorry if you've got to go, but I just wanted to say, it just occurred to me. It just occurred to me that for all their talk about how all the TV shows and films were great in the past, like Predator, Terminator, etc., they don't often talk about RoboCop.
Yeah,
it's weird. In fact,
well, I mean,
it's a weird when you think of sort of classic 80s action movies, RoboCop's right in there. And they never talk about it because you cannot avoid the political messaging in that film.
I mean, there was for a while that gold, at least like social media people trying to claim that RoboCop wasn't political, which was just laughable when I first saw it. I was just like, Paul Verhoeven is like one of the most political filmmakers I can think of. I mean, both that and fucking Starship Troopers, the politics are right fucking there. Like he's not,
and he doesn't stop talking about it either.
Yeah,
I mean, the fact that he was a small child during the Nazi occupation of the Netherlands, and he says that it basically affects everything he's ever done, possibly with the exception of Showgirls.
Yeah, I was about ready to say Listen, I love Paul Verhoeven. Showgirls is it was a movie he made. It was a movie he made. But yeah.
So yeah, I just thought it's funny to watch the sort of gaps in their narrative where they know they can't defend it. Oh, films are too political these days. It wasn't like that back when they were making Die Hard and Predator, all about the Vietnam War, basically.
Yeah.
Predator and all the films that they were making in the 80s. I got a theory that like 90% of the films made in the 80s were about the Vietnam War, not just the ones that were directly about the Vietnam War.
Yeah. Well, Platoon wasn't political. What?
No, how could Platoon be political? Or MASH. People saying MASH is political. I mean, it's just a funny film about doctors.
Yeah, that was about the Korean War, too. That had nothing to do with Vietnam.
Nothing to do with Vietnam at all, no.
But guys, I'm about ready to do my podcast, and then I also have my comic book and debunking stream tomorrow. So I got a couple streams coming up. Have an idea for a video. Will I actually have the time to put together? I might give it a shot. I have a good idea for a video about just my general frustration over the discourse over Starfleet Academy, because I am so frustrated. It's like can't even seriously talk about Star Trek without like people screaming over the most Star Trek shit ever. It's like, have you ever watched Star Trek before?
I mean, I sort of feel like if we'd had the internet when Next Generation was around, we would never have got a season 2 of that show.
Oh no, yeah. Listen, man, you want to scream about how bad the Acolyte is? TNG season 1 is so much worse than the Acolyte. It's not even close. It is bad. There's a couple of episodes that are passable, that are like fun B-movie things, but there are so many that are just bad.
Yeah, I mean, I know everybody hates it, but I really like these sort of alien parasite episodes, but they're not Star Trek.
Yeah, no, that's the B-movie stuff that I kind of enjoy. Like conspiracy,
I suppose
kind of fun.
Yeah. In a way, they are a little bit like original Star Trek, but
yeah, and
they're a little bit like the Wrath of Khan.
Yeah, that alien parasite thing. Yeah, that was kind of like that. Yeah. But I got my podcast in a few minutes. So guys, make sure to check out Nothing But Me. Where are you? You're there. Okay. Check out Nothing But Media over there. I'm Organized Chaos. Of course, Actual Fandom was here. Of course, you got Eric C. Bunks. You have Edgier Than Now. There's a whole bunch of other people I'm forgetting. Make sure to like and subscribe. They're probably in the description. Thank you for joining us. And I will be live in just a few moments. But party on. Be excellent to each other.
Forget to do your homework without wearing headphones.
Yes, that's a very
not to do
important.
your homework without wearing headphones.
Yes.